Yo, welcome back to your favorite hacker's den. You're watching Webtoon BL Stories, where the code is hot and the romance is hotter.
Chapter 1. The Weight of Silence. 8 years. 8 years of swallowing suppressants each morning before the sun dared to paint the horizon. 8 years of forging medical records, memorizing false histories, perfecting the walk of a beta soldier. Shoulders squared, chin level, eyes forward. Never too submissive, never too dominant. The gray space between hierarchies where no one looked twice. My name is Kael Vance. At least, that's what my forged documents say. My true name died the night I presented as Omega at 16, curled in a gutter behind a tavern, biting through my own lip to keep from screaming as my body betrayed me in the most irreversible way possible. I remember the heat, the terrible, consuming heat that felt like my bones were liquefying from the inside out. I remember the scent, sweet, cloying, honeyed, drifting from my skin like a beacon for every alpha within a mile radius. And I remember running, barefoot through cobblestone streets, clutching a stolen cloak around my trembling shoulders, because in the Valdris Empire, an Omega without a house is not a person. An Omega is property. The law is simple, brutal, and absolute. Upon presentation, all Omegas are registered with the State Breeding Commission. Within 30 days, they are assigned to an alpha house, matched like livestock, evaluated for bloodline purity and genetic compatibility. They exist to bear children, to scent alphas' nests, to smooth the jagged edges of a society built on hierarchy and teeth. I chose a different path. The suppressants were expensive at first, black market vials traded in shadow markets where no one asked questions. But I was resourceful. I enlisted in the military at 17, using falsified beta markers in my blood work. The Empire was desperate for soldiers then, too busy fighting border wars to scrutinize every recruit's paperwork. I learned to fight. I learned to kill. I learned that a beta soldier who keeps his head down and his blade sharp can survive anything, even himself. Now I stand at the threshold of the Supreme Alpha Commander's private quarters, my hand hovering over the bronze handle, and I wonder if 8 years of lies are about to crumble into dust. Vance! Commander Dain Marozov's voice cuts through the corridor like a blade. I've heard recordings of it, every soldier has. That voice has ordered thousands to their deaths, brokered peace treaties with iron fists, and reportedly reduced lesser alphas to stammering messes with a single word. I am not a lesser alpha. I am not an alpha at all, which makes this infinitely more dangerous. Commander! I step inside, heels clicking against obsidian floors. The office is massive, vaulted ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the capital city of Varensk, walls lined with maps and war trophies from a dozen conquered territories. But my eyes go immediately to him. Supreme Alpha Commander Dain Marozov is seated behind a desk of dark wood, broad shoulders straining against the fabric of his black uniform jacket. His hair is the color of burnished copper, longer on top, falling in careless waves across a forehead creased with perpetual thought. His jaw is sharp enough to cut glass. And his eyes, I've heard the rumors about his eyes, that they can see through lies, that they've made grown wolves weep with shame, that the goddess herself blessed him with an alpha's instincts so refined, so razor-sharp, that he can scent deception on a man's breath before the man even speaks. He looks up at me now, and those eyes, honey gold, flecked with amber, pin me in place. Your file is impressive, he says, leaning back in his chair. The leather creaks under his weight. 5 years active duty, 17 confirmed kills, 2 commendations for bravery under fire. And now, the youngest beta ever recommended for the commander's guard. I keep my expression neutral. I do my duty, sir. So you do. He rises from the chair, and goddess above, he's tall. 6'5" at least, all lean muscle and predatory grace. He rounds the desk slowly, like a wolf circling prey, and I force myself to remain still. A beta would be uneasy under this scrutiny but not terrified. Not trembling. My heart pounds against my ribs like a caged thing. The commander's guard is different from regular military service. Morozov continues, stopping an arm's length away, close enough that I can smell him. Cedarwood and rainstorms and something deeper, something ancient, something that makes the omega part of my brain scream, kneel, submit, present. I don't kneel. I don't submit. I don't present. I breathe through my mouth and stand my ground. You'll eat when I eat. Sleep when I sleep. You'll be in my shadow from dawn until dusk, and sometimes through the night as well. There's no clocking out of this position, Vance. No breaks. No privacy. His head tilts slightly, and something flickers across his face. A crease between his brows. A subtle flare of his nostrils. Do you understand what you're accepting? Yes, Commander. And still you want the position? I've never wanted anything less. I admit, because honesty is the best mask for deception. But I serve where I'm needed. That almost makes him smile. Almost. The corner of his mouth twitches, and for half a heartbeat, I see something other than the Supreme Alpha Commander. I see exhaustion. I see loneliness. I see a man carrying the weight of an empire on shoulders that are beginning to crack. Then it's gone, replaced by cool authority. Report to the armory at 0600 tomorrow. Captain Harlow will issue your gear and assign your quarters. He turns back to his desk, dismissing me. And Vance. I pause at the door. Sir, you smell strange. The words hit me like a physical blow. I keep my face carefully blank, even as cold sweat traces a path down my spine. I'm sorry, Commander. I don't understand. No. He's already reaching for another report, but his golden eyes cut to me one last time. Neither do I. I leave before he can see my hands shake. The suppressants are supposed to mask everything. My scent, my heat cycles, the subtle hormonal markers that separate omegas from betas. They've worked for 8 years. They've fooled military physicians, rival soldiers, even the occasional alpha who got too close. But Commander Morozov isn't an occasional alpha. He's the most powerful wolf in the Empire, blessed with instincts that border on precognition. And he just told me I smell like a lie. I make it to the barracks before I vomit. Chapter 2. The Shadow's Duty. The first week is a trial by fire. Commander Morozov doesn't sleep. That's the first thing I learn. He works through the night, fueled by black coffee and something darker. Guilt, maybe, or the kind of pressure that would crush lesser men. I stand guard outside his office door from midnight until dawn, watching shadows lengthen and shrink, listening to the scratch of his pen and the occasional muttered curse. Vance. I push open the door. Commander. Come here. He's hunched over a map spread across his desk, ink-stained fingers tracing supply routes and troop movements. The lamp casts harsh shadows across his face, emphasizing the hollows under his cheekbones, the sharp cut of his jaw. He looks up when I approach, and his nostrils flare again. That subtle scenting. He doesn't even try to hide it anymore. What do you know about the rebel faction calling themselves the Free Claw? I position myself at parade rest, 2 feet from his desk. Close enough to guard, far enough to maintain professional distance. Standard splinter cell, sir. Disgruntled omegas and lower caste betas who believe the hierarchy is unjust. They've claimed responsibility for 3 assassinations this year, all mid-level alpha commanders. Mid-level commanders who were all in line for promotions to high command. Morozov taps the map. Someone's targeting the chain of command. And intelligence suggests. He pauses, jaw tightening. Intelligence suggests they have a source inside the military. Someone feeding them information about troop movements, security protocols, commander vulnerabilities. I feel the floor tilt beneath me. Inside the military, sir? Inside this building. He stands abruptly, and I have to fight the urge to step backward. He's too close now, barely a foot away, close enough that I can see the individual flecks of gold in his irises. Someone in the commander's guard is leaking intelligence to the enemy. Someone I trust. Someone who stands in my shadow and watches me sleep. His eyes bore into mine. I don't look away. Can't look away. To look away would be submission, and submission would reveal everything. Do you have any suspects, Commander? No. The word comes out like a gunshot. But I will. And when I find them, they will wish they'd never been born. He circles me slowly, and I feel his gaze on my back like a brand. You're very still, Vance. Most men fidget under scrutiny. Most men have something to hide, sir. Don't they? He stops in front of me again, and this time his hand comes up. His fingers brush my collar. Just briefly, just a whisper of touch, and every nerve in my body ignites. You wear your uniform like armor. Every button fastened. Every crease precise. Even your scent is contained. Managed. The suppressants are for a medical condition, Commander. It's all in my file. So it is. His hand drops. So it is. The tension breaks, but it doesn't dissipate. It lingers in the air between us, thick as smoke, heavy as chains. Morozov returns to his desk, and I return to my post outside the door, but something has shifted. He knows I'm lying. He just doesn't know what about. The suppressants have side effects. I've learned to manage most of them, the headaches, the nausea, the occasional dizziness, but the fatigue is harder to hide. By the end of the second week, I'm running on fumes and caffeine, my body screaming for the rest it can't afford. You look like death, Captain Harlow observes as I collect my daily dose from the medical supply cabinet. She's a beta like me or like the me I pretend to be, with cropped gray hair and eyes that have seen too many wars. When's your last leave? 6 months ago, Captain. Take a weekend. Commander won't mind. Commander won't have to know. I swallow the pill dry, grimacing at the bitter taste. I'm fine. She studies me for a long moment, her expression unreadable. You remind me of someone, she says finally. Someone I served with years ago. Omega, who tried to pass as beta. Didn't end well for him. My blood turns to ice. I wouldn't know about that, Captain. No. She turns away, busying herself with inventory. I suppose you wouldn't. I leave the medical bay at a controlled walk, but inside I'm screaming. Someone knew. Someone saw through the disguise, and they're still alive, and they're still here, and they're watching me. Or maybe I'm being paranoid. Maybe Harlow was just making conversation. Maybe the guilt is finally getting to me, warping every casual comment into a threat. Maybe. I'm halfway back to the commander's wing when my phone buzzes with an encrypted message. Unknown sender. Unknown number. The text is brief, and it makes my stomach drop through the floor. We know what you are, Kaelin. The question is, whose side are you really on? I delete the message. I smash the phone against the wall. I pick up the pieces and flush them down the nearest latrine. But the words are already burned into my brain, searing through every lie I've ever told. We know what you are. Someone knows. And if someone knows, it's only a matter of time before everyone knows. Chapter 3. The Council's Demand. The War Council meets every 7th day in the Obsidian Chamber, a circular room with a domed ceiling painted with scenes of ancient wolf battles. Portraits of past Supreme Alphas glare down from the walls, their painted eyes seeming to follow every movement. At the center of the room sits a round table of black stone, and at the head of that table sits Commander Morozov. Today, he looks like a man attending his own execution. The council members are all alphas, all nobles, all powerful in their own right. Lord Aldrich Varen, head of the Varen Trading Empire, with his silver-streaked hair and calculating smile. Lady Seraphine Volkov, commander of the Eastern Legion, whose reputation for cruelty precedes her like a storm cloud. Elder Marius Kane, ancient and wizened, his eyes clouded with cataracts but his instincts still sharp as broken glass. And then there's Lord Caspian Theron, Minister of Breeding Affairs. I hate him on sight. He's handsome in a polished, predatory way. Dark hair slicked back, tailored suit emphasizing broad shoulders and narrow waist. But it's his smile that makes my skin crawl. That knowing, proprietary smile that says, I own people like you. The Empire needs stability, Theron is saying, spreading his hands across the table. The rebels grow bolder by the day. The people grow restless. And you, Commander, remain conspicuously unmated. Morozov's jaw tightens. My personal life is not a matter of state. Everything about you is a matter of state. Aldrich Varen's voice is silk wrapped around steel. You are the Supreme Alpha. Your bloodline determines the future of the Empire. An unmated alpha is an unstable alpha. The people need to see you settled, bonded, Secure. I am perfectly secure. You're guarded by betas. Seraphine Volkov cuts in, her lip curling with disdain. Betas who can't possibly understand the needs of an alpha of your caliber. You need an omega, Dain. A proper omega from a proper house. Someone to scent your nest, bear your heirs, keep you grounded. I have guards for protection and advisors for counsel. I don't need. What you need, Theron interrupts smoothly, is irrelevant. The council has identified 3 suitable candidates from noble omega houses. All have been evaluated for genetic compatibility. All are of childbearing age. All are eager to serve. He slides a portfolio across the table. Morozov doesn't touch it. I'm not bonding with a stranger to appease political optics. Then bond with someone you know. Theron's smile sharpens. There are any number of omegas in the capital who would be honored to warm your bed. Surely one of them has caught your interest. The silence stretches like a wire about to snap. I will consider the matter, Morozov says finally, each word dragged from his throat like a confession. But I will not be rushed. The rebels are the priority. Once they're dealt with, we can discuss. The rebels won't be dealt with until you're stable. Elder Kane speaks for the first time, his voice a dry rustle like autumn leaves. The goddess's law is clear. An alpha without an omega is a ship without an anchor. You drift, commander. You hesitate. You second guess. The bond would sharpen you. Or break me. Either way, it would be decisive. Morozov's hands clench beneath the table. I see it from my position against the wall. The white-knuckled grip, the subtle tremor in his shoulders. He's fighting something. Rage, maybe, or despair. Or both. The council's recommendation is noted, he says through gritted teeth. This meeting is adjourned. The alphas rise, gathering their papers and their dignity. Theron pauses at the door, glancing back at Morozov with that same knowing smile. 30 days, Commander. That's how long we're willing to wait. After that, the council will exercise its authority under the Emergency Succession Act. Then he's gone, and the door closes, and Morozov is alone with his fury and his guard. Vance. Commander. He doesn't look at me. He's staring at the empty chairs, the abandoned portfolio, the painted eyes of dead alphas on the ceiling. What would you do if the entire world was telling you to do something you didn't want to do? It's a dangerous question, personal question, a question no commanding officer should ask a subordinate. But Morozov has never treated me like a subordinate. Not really. Not since that first day. I'd ask myself what I wanted. I say quietly, and then I'd fight for it. He turns then, and his golden eyes meet mine. There's something raw in them, something unguarded and vulnerable and entirely at odds with the Supreme Alpha Commander. He looks at me like I'm the only honest thing in a room full of lies. And what if what I want is impossible? Nothing's impossible, Commander. Just difficult. For a moment, just a moment, I think he's going to say something else. Something that would change everything. His lips part. His hand lifts as if to reach for me. Then the moment passes, and he's the commander again, distant and untouchable. Return to your post, Vance. I bow my head and leave, but I feel his eyes on my back until the door swings shut. And I feel my heart hammering against my ribs with something that feels terrifyingly like hope. Chapter 4. Cracks in the armor. The suppressants are failing. I notice it 3 weeks into my assignment. Small things at first. A warmth beneath my skin that has nothing to do with the ambient temperature. A heightened sensitivity to smells, especially alpha scents. A restlessness that makes sleep impossible, that sends me pacing the barracks corridors at 3 a.m. like a caged animal. Then the scent starts to bleed through. It's subtle, barely detectable. A hint of something sweet beneath the chemical mask, like honey trying to escape through a cracked jar. I double my dosage, swallowing pills until my stomach rebels and I spend an hour hunched over a toilet, while burning my throat. It doesn't help. You're sick, Captain Harlow observes when I report for supply distribution. Her eyes track the sweat on my forehead, the tremor in my hands. When's the last time you slept? I don't remember. Go to medical. Get checked out. I'm fine. You're not fine, Vance. You're pale, you're shaking, and you smell. She stops abruptly, her nostrils flaring. Something flickers across her face. Recognition. Fear. Pity. Goddess above. You're not a beta, are you? The world narrows to a pinprick. Captain. Don't lie to me. I've been doing this job for 30 years. I know what a suppressant overdose looks like. I know what an omega in preheat smells like. She steps closer, lowering her voice. How long? 8 years. 8. She exhales slowly, shaking her head. You're either very brave or very stupid. Probably both. Are you going to report me? The question hangs between us, heavy as a death sentence. Harlow studies my face for a long moment, her expression unreadable. No, she says finally. But you need to get out, Vance. Before your next heat hits. Before someone else notices. Before the commander. She stops, swallowing hard. The commander's instincts are already stirring. I've seen the way he looks at you. He doesn't know what you are. But his wolf knows something. And when his wolf figures it out. I know. Then why are you still here? Because I have nowhere else to go. Because the Empire has eyes everywhere. And if I run, they'll catch me. Because Commander Morozov is the only person who's ever looked at me like I matter. And I'm not ready to give that up. But I can't say any of that. So instead, I say, my only exit is in a coffin. Harlow's face crumples with something that looks like grief. I'm sorry, she whispers. Goddess, I'm so sorry. Then she walks away, and I'm left alone with the weight of her pity and the ticking of a clock I can't stop. 27 days until my next heat. 27 days until my body betrays me. 27 days until everything ends. The rebel message arrives 3 days later. This time it's not a text. It's a folded piece of paper slipped under my pillow while I slept. Proof that they have access to my quarters, my schedule, my life. The handwriting is neat, precise, almost elegant. Kaelin, we don't want to hurt you. We want to save you. The Empire has lied to you about what omegas are. You're not property. You're not livestock. You're a weapon they've been too afraid to wield. The Free Claw offers you a place among us. Protection, purpose, freedom. You have 7 days to decide. After that, we'll assume you've chosen the Empire, and we'll treat you accordingly. The Claw. I burn the note in the sink, watching the flames consume the words. 7 days. 7 days to choose between two impossible options, between certain death and maybe death, between the devil I know and the devil I don't. But there's a third option, isn't there? One I haven't considered. One that terrifies me more than either of the others. I could tell the commander the truth. I could throw myself on his mercy and hope, against all logic, against all evidence, that he's different. That he'll see me as a person rather than property. That he'll help me rather than hurt me. It's a fool's hope, a child's hope, the kind of hope that gets people killed. But it's there, burning in my chest, refusing to die. Chapter 5. The Smell of a Lie. Morozov summons me to his private quarters at midnight. Not his office, his quarters. The rooms where he sleeps, where he undresses, where he lets down his guard. I've never been invited here before. None of his guards have. The invitation alone is unprecedented. And it sends my heart racing with a mixture of fear and something else. Something I refuse to name. The door is unlocked. I push it open and step inside. His quarters are smaller than I expected. A bedroom, a sitting area, a small kitchenette. The walls are bare except for a single painting. A moonlit forest, wolves running between the trees. The furniture is functional rather than luxurious, worn leather and dark wood. A fire crackles in the hearth, casting dancing shadows across the floor. Morozov stands by the window, staring out at the city below. He's not wearing his uniform jacket. Just a white shirt, unbuttoned at the collar, sleeves rolled to his elbows. His forearms are corded with muscle, dusted with copper hair. His feet are bare. He looks human, vulnerable, beautiful. Close the door, he says without turning around. I obey. The latch clicks shut, and suddenly the room feels much smaller, much warmer. Commander is everything. Don't. His voice is rough, strained. Don't call me that. Not tonight. Then what should I call you? He turns then, and I see the war raging behind his eyes. The same war I've been fighting myself. Duty versus desire. Logic versus instinct. The alpha versus the man. Dain, he says. Call me Dain. The name hangs in the air between us, intimate and forbidden. A supreme alpha doesn't give his given name to a guard. A guard doesn't use it. But I'm not really a guard, and he's not really my commander, and we're both standing in the middle of a lie that's about to shatter. Why am I here, Dain? He crosses the room in 3 strides, stopping inches from me. Close enough that I can feel the heat radiating from his body. Close enough that I can see the pulse hammering in his throat. Because I can't sleep, he says. Because every time I close my eyes, I see you. Because I've spent the past month telling myself that you're nothing but a soldier, nothing but a beta, nothing but a means to an end. And I can't lie to myself anymore. His hand comes up, and this time he doesn't stop at my collar. His fingers trace my jaw, feather-light, trailing fire across my skin. I should pull away. I should maintain the distance, preserve the deception, protect myself. Instead, I lean into his touch. There's something about you, he breathes. Something I can't name. Something that calls to me in ways nothing ever has. Your scent, it's wrong, Kaelin. It's all wrong. Suppressants and lies and chemicals designed to hide. But beneath that, beneath all of it, there's something else. Something sweet. Something that makes my wolf want to howl. My heart stops. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. His other hand cups my face, tilting my head up to meet his gaze. I'm saying that you're not a beta. I'm saying you've been lying to everyone, including me, for reasons I don't yet understand. And I'm saying, his voice breaks. I'm saying I don't care. Then you're a fool. Yes. He smiles, and it's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Probably. But I'm also the Supreme Alpha Commander, and I'm telling you that whatever you're hiding, whatever secret you're carrying, I want to share the weight of it. Let me help you, Kaelin. Let me. I kiss him. I don't plan it. I don't think about it. I just do it. Push up on my toes and press my mouth to his, desperate and hungry and terrified. He freezes for half a heartbeat, shocked into stillness. Then he groans, low and deep, and his arms wrap around me, pulling me flush against his chest. His mouth is hot, demanding. He kisses like he fights, with strategy and passion and overwhelming force. His tongue sweeps across my lower lip, and I open for him, and the taste of him floods my senses. Cedarwood and rainstorms and something darker. Something possessive. Mine, his wolf seems to snarl. Mine, mine, mine. I should stop this. I should pull away, make my excuses, retreat to the safety of my lies. But I've been safe for 8 years, and I'm so tired of being safe. I want to be wanted. I want to be seen. I want to be something other than a secret whispered in the dark. His hands slide down my back, gripping my hips, pulling me closer. I can feel the hard length of him pressing against my thigh, and the omega part of me. The part I've suppressed for so long sings with triumph. He pulls back, breathing hard, his forehead pressed to mine. Tell me, he whispers. Tell me what you are. Please. I open my mouth to answer, to finally tell the truth, and then I feel it. A cramp. Low in my belly. Sharp and sudden and unmistakable. My heat. 3 weeks early. No. The word tears from my throat. No, no, no. Kaelin. Dain's eyes widen, his nostrils flaring. I see the exact moment he smells it. The full, unadulterated scent of my omega biology, no longer masked by suppressants. His pupils dilate. His breathing quickens. His grip on my hips tightens almost painfully. His voice is hoarse, disbelieving. You're an omega. I try to pull away, but he won't let me go. Please, I gasp, tears streaming down my face. Please, you have to let me go. You have to. Shoo. He pulls me against his chest, cradling me like something precious. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to turn you in. I'm not going to do anything you don't want me to do. You don't understand. The cramps are getting worse, radiating through my entire body. They'll find out. The council, the military, everyone, they'll take me, Dain. They'll assign me to some alpha I've never met, and I'll spend the rest of my life in a nursery, breeding heirs for a stranger, and I'd rather die. Then bond with me. The words hit me like a physical blow. I stare up at him, searching his face for mockery, for manipulation, for anything but the sincere intensity one find there. What? Bond with me. He cups my face in both hands, thumbs brushing away my tears. The council wants me to bond with an Omega from a noble house. But I don't want them. I want you. I've wanted you since the moment you walked into my office, even when I didn't understand why. Bond with me, Kael. Not as property. Not as a political arrangement. As my partner. My equal. My mate. You don't know me. You don't know what I've done. I know enough. He kisses my forehead, my eyelids, the corner of my mouth. I know you're brave. I know you're loyal. I know you've spent 8 years surviving a system designed to break you. That's not weakness, Kael. That's strength. That's everything. But the rebels. Tell me about the rebels later. He pulls back, meeting my eyes with that unshakable golden gaze. Right now, I need an answer. Will you bond with me? Not because I'm forcing you. Not because I'm blackmailing you. But because I'm asking. Truly asking. Will you? My body is burning. My mind is fogging with the onset of heat. I can't think clearly, can't weigh options, can't calculate consequences. But I don't need to, because I already know my answer. Yes, I whisper. Yes, Dain. I'll bond with you. He kisses me again, softer this time, reverent and gentle. Then he scoops me into his arms, one arm beneath my knees, the other around my back, and carries me to his bed. Then let's give them something to talk about, he murmurs against my lips. And as the door swings shut behind us, I hear the howl of wolves in the distance, as if the goddess herself is blessing what's about to happen. But in the back of my mind, a darker voice whispers, the rebels gave you 7 days. It's been 6. Tomorrow everything changes. Chapter 6. The Bond. I wake to warmth. Not the fevered heat of my Omega biology, but something gentler. Something that feels like sunlight on skin, like a hand held in the dark, like the first breath after nearly drowning. I'm wrapped in blankets that smell of cedarwood and rainstorms, and there's an arm draped across my waist, heavy and possessive and grounding. Dain. He's still asleep beside me, his copper hair scattered across the pillow, his face slack with the kind of peace I've never seen on him. In sleep, he looks younger, less burdened. The lines of tension around his eyes have smoothed away, and his lips are slightly parted, and his breathing is deep and even. I watch him for a long moment, cataloging every detail. The freckles scattered across his nose, the small scar above his left eyebrow, the way his hand twitches in his sleep, as if reaching for something even in unconsciousness. Last night feels like a dream, the kind of impossible fantasy I've never allowed myself to imagine. An alpha, not just any alpha, but the supreme Alpha Commander, asking me to bond with him, choosing me, wanting me. But it wasn't a dream. I can feel the bond mark on my neck, still tender, still healing. I can feel the new connection humming between us, a thread of golden light that ties my soul to his. I can feel his emotions bleeding through the bond, contentment, protectiveness, and beneath both, a deep and terrifying love. He loves me. The Supreme Alpha Commander loves a fugitive Omega who's been lying to him since the day they met. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve him. But Goddess, I want to. Stop thinking so loudly. His voice is rough with sleep, and his eyes are still closed, but his arm tightens around my waist, pulling me closer. I press against his chest, feeling his heartbeat against my cheek, steady and strong. You're supposed to be asleep. Impossible with you radiating anxiety through the bond. He opens his eyes, and the gold in them seems brighter than before. More alive. What's wrong? Everything. I swallow hard. I need to tell you about the rebels. He goes still beneath me. Tell me. So I do. Everything. The first message. The second. The note under my pillow. The 7-day ultimatum. The impossible choice they've given me. I tell him about the suppressants failing, about Captain Harlow's warning, about the ticking clock I've been running from for 8 years. When I finish, the silence stretches between us like a wound. They know what you are, Dain says finally. It's not a question. Yes. And they're using it against you. Yes. His jaw tightens. If they know, others might know. The council. The military. If word gets out that the Supreme Alpha Commander bonded with an unregistered Omega, a fugitive Omega, someone who's been impersonating a beta soldier. I know. The words taste like ash. I've ruined you. By bonding with me, I've handed our enemies the weapon they need to destroy you. He rolls over, pinning me beneath him, his hands bracketing my face. His eyes blaze with something fierce and bright. Listen to me, Kael Vance. You have not ruined me. You have saved me. I was drowning before you walked into my office. Drowning in duty and obligation and loneliness. You pulled me out of the water. You made me feel something other than exhaustion and rage. You made me want to live. Don't. I'm not finished. He presses his forehead to mine. The rebels want to use you. The council wants to control you. The Empire wants to own you. But I want you to be free. I want you to stand beside me, not behind me. I want to build a world where Omegas aren't property, where you don't have to hide, where you can be exactly who you are without fear. That world doesn't exist. Then we'll build it. He kisses me softly, briefly. Together. I want to believe him. I want to believe that love is enough to change the world, that two people can fight an empire and win. But I've seen too much, survived too much, lost too much to trust in fairy tales. What's your plan? I ask instead. Dain rolls onto his back, pulling me with him so I'm sprawled across his chest. The rebels reached out to you. They want you to join them. That gives us an opportunity. To do what? To find out who's feeding them information from inside the military. His fingers trace patterns on my bare back. You're the perfect double agent, Kael. You have a reason to hate the Empire. You have skills they need. If you go to them, pretend to join their cause, you could uncover their source, their plans, their weaknesses. Or they could kill me. They won't. His voice is hard, certain. You're too valuable. An Omega who passed as a beta for 8 years? A former commander's guard with access to military intelligence? They'll want to recruit you, not eliminate you. And what about you? What about us? I'll be here, waiting. He tilts my chin up, forcing me to meet his eyes. The bond works both ways, Kael. I'll feel you. Whatever happens, wherever you go, I'll know if you're in danger. And if you are, I'll tear the world apart to save you. That's very romantic. And very stupid. If you come after me, you'll expose everything. Then don't let yourself be in danger. I laugh despite everything. No pressure. He smiles, and for a moment, everything feels almost normal. Almost safe. Two people in bed, planning a future, pretending the world outside doesn't exist. But it does exist. And it's waiting. One more thing, Dain says, his expression sobering. The council's deadline. 30 days to bond with an Omega from a noble house. You're bonded to me. They don't know that. And we can't tell them. Not yet. He sighs, running a hand through his hair. If they find out you're an Omega, let alone an unregistered one, they'll have you arrested. They'll dissolve the bond. They'll assign me someone else. Someone they control. Someone who will bear their heirs and report my every move. So we lie. So we lie. He grimaces. I hate lying. Welcome to my world. He kisses the top of my head. I suppose I deserve that. We lie there in silence, wrapped in each other, savoring the last few moments of peace before the storm. Outside, the sun is rising over Varensk, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose. Somewhere in the city, rebels are plotting. Councils are scheming. Empires are crumbling. But here, in this bed, there is only us. I love you, Dain says quietly. I know it's too soon. I know we barely know each other. But I love you, Kaelin. I've been looking for you my whole life without even knowing it. Tears prick my eyes. I love you too, even though it terrifies me. It should terrify you. Love is terrifying. He smiles, that soft, sad smile I'm beginning to cherish. But it's also the only thing worth fighting for. I press my face into his chest, breathing him in, memorizing the feel of his arms around me. Tomorrow I become a double agent. Tomorrow, I walk into the den of wolves who want to destroy everything Dain has built. Tomorrow, I risk everything for the chance at a future I never dared to imagine. But today I let myself be loved. Today I rest. Today I am not a fugitive or a soldier or a secret. I am just Kaelin, and I am enough. Chapter 7, The Double Agent. The Free Claws safe house is in the Undercity, a labyrinth of tunnels and abandoned buildings beneath Varensk's polished streets. The Empire pretends the Undercity doesn't exist, but everyone knows it's where the desperate go to disappear. Omega's fleeing assignment. Beta's tired of being crushed beneath Alpha heels. Rebels plotting revolution. I descend into the darkness alone, following the instructions from the last message. A series of tunnels, a hidden door, a password whispered to a shadow. The deeper I go, the more I feel the weight of the city above me, pressing down like a grave. Dain, I think through the bond. I'm here. I know. His response is immediate, warm, reassuring. Be careful. I love you. I love you too. The safe house is larger than I expected. A converted warehouse with high ceilings and makeshift partitions. Dozens of people move through the space, some in uniforms, some in rags, all with the same look in their eyes. Hunger, not for food but for something more. Justice, freedom, revenge. A woman approaches me, and I recognize her immediately from wanted posters plastered throughout the city. Ria Volkov, former Alpha Commander, current rebel leader, and, according to intelligence, the most wanted woman in the Empire. Kael Vance, she says, extending her hand. Or should I say Kaelin? Just Kaelin. No house, no designation, no chains. I shake her hand, noting the firmness of her grip, the calluses on her palm. She's a soldier, same as me. You know who I am. I know what you are, which is more than the Empire knows. She gestures for me to follow, leading me through the maze of partitions to a private room in the back. Sit. We have much to discuss. The room is small, barely larger than a closet, with a table and 2 chairs. Maps cover the walls, the same maps I've seen in Dain's office, marked with the same troop movements, the same supply routes. My stomach clenches. Someone in the military is definitely feeding them information. You're wondering how we found you, Ria says, settling into a chair. The truth is, we've known about you for years. A beta with suppressant prescriptions from a dozen different doctors. Medical records that don't quite match. A scent that doesn't quite fade. You're good, Kaelin. But we're better. Why didn't you expose me? Because we don't expose Omegas. We save them. She leans forward, her dark eyes intense. The Empire has convinced you that you're property. That your worth is determined by your biology. That the only path to safety is hiding. But there's another way. Violence. Justice. She shrugs. If violence is required, so be it. The Empire didn't become peaceful through negotiation. It became powerful through conquest. We're simply giving them a taste of their own medicine. You're killing alphas, commanders, people with families, people who uphold a system that enslaves omegas. Her voice hardens. I was an Alpha Commander once, Kaelin. I killed for the Empire. I conquered for the Empire. I believed in the hierarchy, the breeding programs, the beautiful order of it all. Then my younger sister presented as Omega, and they took her. Assigned her to Lord Caspian Theron himself. She lasted 3 years before she threw herself from a balcony. I go cold. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't bring her back. Ria's jaw tightens. Sorry doesn't change anything, but revolution does. That's what I'm offering you, Kaelin. a chance to be part of something bigger than survival, a chance to tear down the system that's hunted you for 8 years. And in exchange, you help us identify the leak in the commander's guard, the one who's been feeding us information. She pauses. You were the leak, Kaelin. Or rather, we made it look like you were. All the evidence we've planted points directly to you, your access codes, your schedule, your known associates. If the Empire discovers what we've done, they'll execute you as a traitor. My blood turns to ice. You framed me. We needed insurance. Someone with everything to lose. Someone who couldn't go to the authorities without revealing their own secrets. She spreads her hands. You're the perfect scapegoat, Kaelin. But you're also our best hope. Help us finish this and we'll clear your name. Refuse, and we'll let the evidence speak for itself. You're blackmailing me. I'm giving you a choice. Her eyes meet mine, unblinking. The same choice I gave every member of the Free Claw. You can be a victim or you can be a soldier. You can hide or you can fight. But you cannot remain neutral. The Empire doesn't allow neutrality. I think of Dain waiting for me above. Of the bond humming between us. Invisible but unbreakable. Of the future we're trying to build. Brick by fragile brick. What do you need me to do? Rhea smiles. And it's the smile of a wolf who's finally cornered her prey. There's a council meeting in 3 days. The Alpha Commanders will all be present, discussing the rebel threat. We need you to confirm the time, the location, and the security arrangements. You want to assassinate them. I want to end the war. She stands, extending her hand again. One decisive blow. Cut off the head of the serpent and the body dies. No more Alpha Commanders. No more breeding programs. No more Omegas hiding in the shadows. I should refuse. I should walk away, warn Dain, expose the plot. But Rhea is right about one thing. The Empire is rotten to its core. The system that enslaved me has enslaved thousands of others. Maybe it's time for a new system, but not like this. Not through murder and chaos and the deaths of people who might have been allies. Give me 24 hours, I say. I need to verify the security arrangements. 24 hours. Rhea nods. Then we move. I leave the Undercity with the weight of the world on my shoulders. Dain, I think through the bond. We have a problem. And for the first time, I'm not sure love will be enough to solve it. Chapter 8. The Truth Unveiled. Dain paces the length of his office like a caged wolf, his hands clenched at his sides, his jaw tight enough to crack teeth. The rebels framed you, he says, not for the first time. All the evidence, all the leaks, they manufactured it to make you look guilty. That's what I've been telling you. But why? Why you specifically? I sit on the edge of his desk, watching him move. The bond thrums with his agitation. Anger, fear, protectiveness. And I reach out through it, trying to soothe him. Because I'm vulnerable. An Omega in hiding, desperate to protect my secret. I'm exactly the kind of person they can manipulate. And now they want you to help them assassinate the entire War Council. Yes. He stops pacing, turning to face me. You're not going to do it. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. No. I'm not going to help them murder innocent people. Innocent. Dain's laugh is bitter. None of us are innocent, Kaelin. Lord Aldrich Varen built his fortune on the backs of indentured servants. Lady Seraphine Volkov has executed more deserters than I care to count. Elder Marius Kane personally authorized the sterilization of defective Omegas for 3 decades. And Caspian Theron? The worst of them. Dain's expression darkens. He doesn't just assign Omegas to noble houses. He keeps the most beautiful ones for himself. His estate is, I've heard things, horrible things, things I should have investigated years ago. So the rebels aren't entirely wrong. No, he sighs, running a hand through his hair. They're not wrong about the corruption. They're not wrong about the injustice. But assassination isn't the answer. Violence only begets violence. If we kill the council members, new ones will rise to take their places. Ones who are smarter, more ruthless, more dangerous. Then what is the answer? Dain crosses to me, taking my hands in his. Reform from within. Changing the laws, the policies, the culture. The slower, the harder. It requires compromise and patience and 1,000 small battles instead of one big war. But it's the only way that doesn't destroy everything we're trying to save. You sound like a politician. I sound like someone who's seen what happens when revolutionaries win. His grip tightens. The border territories tried to revolt 10 years ago. They overthrew their Alpha commanders, established an Omega-led council, declared themselves free. Within 6 months, the neighboring territories had invaded, slaughtered the council, and reinstated the old system with even harsher laws. Revolution without a plan is just suicide. So what's your plan? He releases my hands, stepping back. We expose the corruption, not through assassinations but through evidence, trials, public accountability. We find proof of what Theron has done, what Varen has done, and we present it to the people. Let them see the truth. Let them demand change. And the rebels? We offer them amnesty, a seat at the table, a chance to be part of the solution instead of the problem. He meets my eyes, and I see the weight of his decision in his gaze. I'm not going to destroy the Free Claw, Kaelin. I'm going to transform it. And I need your help. You're asking me to betray them. I'm asking you to save them. From themselves. From a war they can't win. From a future that ends with their bodies hanging from the city walls. He steps closer, cupping my face in his hands. Ria Volkov is not a monster. She's a grieving sister who's been radicalized by tragedy. I can reach her. I can make her see another way. But only if you're with me. I lean into his touch, closing my eyes. The bond hums between us, warm and steady and sure. You're asking me to trust you. Yes. Even though you blackmailed me into this bond. Even though you threatened to expose my secret if I refused. He flinches. I know. I was wrong. I was desperate and scared, and I handled it badly. But I'm trying to be better, Kaelin. I'm trying to earn your trust instead of demanding it. I open my eyes, searching his face. The lines of tension, the shadows beneath his eyes, the earnest sincerity in his gaze. He's not lying. He's not manipulating. He's just a man trying to do the right thing in a world that rewards the wrong. 24 hours, I say. That's how long I have before I have to give Ria an answer. You have until then to convince her that your way is better than hers. That's not much time. Then you'd better get started. He kisses me, quick and hard, then pulls away with a fierce grin. I love you, Kael Vance. Even when you're impossible. Especially when I'm impossible. Especially then. He leaves the office at a run, already barking orders into his communicator, already mobilizing whatever resources he has. I watch him go, and I feel the bond stretching between us, elastic and unbreakable. Whatever happens next, we face it together. Chapter 9, The Confrontation. The Undercity feels different when I return. Darker, colder. The shadows seem to move with purpose, and every face I pass carries the weight of secrets I'm not sure I want to know. Ria is waiting for me in the same room, surrounded by her lieutenants. They watch me with wary eyes, hands resting on weapons, bodies tensed for violence. You're early, Ria says. I wasn't expecting you for another 6 hours. Plans changed. Her eyes narrow. How? I take a breath, steadying myself. Commander Morozov wants to meet with you. The room goes still. Someone draws a weapon. Someone else curses under their breath. Morozov. Ria's voice is flat, dangerous. The Supreme Alpha Commander? The most powerful wolf in the Empire? You want me to meet with him? I want you to listen to him. I hold her gaze, refusing to look away. He knows about the framing. He knows about the assassination plot. And he's offering an alternative. An alternative. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. Let me guess. He wants us to surrender. To lay down our weapons and trust the system that's been killing us for centuries. He wants to change the system. From within. With your help. And you believe him? I think of Dain's hands on my face. His lips on my forehead. His voice whispering, I want you to be free. I think of the bond humming between us, invisible but undeniable. I think of the man behind the commander, the wolf behind the alpha. Yes, I say. I believe him. Rhea studies me for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she gestures to her lieutenants, who file out of the room, leaving us alone. You're bonded to him, she says. It's not a question. The bond doesn't control me. It doesn't make me his puppet or his property. I didn't say it did. She sinks into a chair, suddenly looking older than her years. I've seen bonded pairs before, Kaelin. Some are beautiful. Most are prisons. But the way you talk about him, the way you defend him, that's not compulsion. That's love. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just a fool. Maybe both. She sighs, rubbing her temples. If I agree to this meeting, what guarantees do I have? How do I know Morozov won't simply execute me the moment I show my face? You don't. I sit across from her, leaning forward. But I'll be there, and I'll vouch for you. And if he tries anything, I'll stop him. You'd fight your own mate? If he gives me reason to. I meet her eyes. I didn't survive 8 years of hiding to watch innocent people die for politics. I want the same thing you want, Rhea. Freedom. Justice. A world where omegas don't have to hide or die. I just think there's a better way to get there. She's silent for a long time. The candle on the table flickers, casting dancing shadows across her face. When she finally speaks, her voice is hoarse. He killed my sister, Caspian Theron. He broke her and broke her and broke her until she couldn't take it anymore. I watched her fall, Kaelin. I watched her body hit the ground, and I heard the crack of her bones, and I swore that day that I would make him pay. Then help us bring him to justice. Legally, publicly, so everyone can see what he truly is. He'll never face justice. He's too powerful, too connected, he's a man, just a man. And men can be brought down. I reach across the table, taking her hand. Trust me, just this once. Come to the meeting. Hear what Dain has to say. If you don't like it, you can walk away. No tricks, no traps. Just two people trying to find a way forward. Rhea looks at our joined hands, and for a moment, I see the woman beneath the rebel leader. The sister, the soldier, the survivor. 24 hours. She says finally. I'll give him 24 hours to convince me. It's all he needs. She pulls her hand back, and the mask slides into place again. The hardness, the determination, the ruthless edge. If this is a trap, Kaelin, I will kill you myself. Bond or no bond. Love or no love. I know. Good. She stands, extending her hand. Then we have a deal. I shake her hand, and somewhere above us, I feel Dain's presence through the bond. He's waiting, hoping, loving. And for the first time in 8 years, I allow myself to believe that maybe, just maybe, everything is going to be okay. Chapter 10. A New Dawn. The meeting takes place in neutral territory, an old temple on the outskirts of Varensk, abandoned after the last war. The walls are cracked, the windows shattered, the altar covered in dust. But the goddess's symbol still hangs above the doorway, a wolf's head carved in stone, her eyes watching over everything. Dain arrives first, alone. No guards, no weapons, just him in a simple black shirt and trousers, his copper hair wind-tossed, his golden eyes calm. Rhea arrives second, with 2 lieutenants flanking her. They search the temple, check for traps, verify that Dain is alone. Then they take positions by the door, hands on their weapons, ready to intervene. Dain and Rhea stand across from each other, 10 feet apart. The distance between them feels like miles. Thank you for coming, Dain says. I didn't come for you. I came for Kaelin. Rhea's voice is ice. He seems to believe you're different. I'm here to find out if he's right. He's right. Dain spreads his hands, palms up. I'm not here to arrest you. I'm not here to bargain. I'm here to ask for your help. My help. The Empire is broken. You know it. I know it. Everyone with eyes can see it. The Council is corrupt. The breeding programs are cruel. And the hierarchy is designed to benefit the few at the expense of the many. He takes a step closer. I've spent years trying to fix it from within, but I can't do it alone. I need allies, people who understand what's at stake, people who aren't afraid to fight for what's right. And you think I'm one of those people? I know you are. He stops close enough to touch her. Rhea, your sister. Don't. Her voice cracks. Don't you dare bring her into this. I'm not bringing her into this. I'm acknowledging her. What happened to her was a crime. What happened to every Omega forced into Theron's house was a crime. And I'm going to make sure the perpetrators face justice. Words. I have evidence. He reaches into his pocket and the lieutenant's tense, but he pulls out only a data chip. Theron's financial records, his communications, testimony from former Omegas who survived his attention. Enough to convict him a dozen times over. Rhea stares at the chip. Where did you get this? I've been investigating Theron for 3 years. Quietly, carefully, building a case that even his connections can't bury. He holds the chip out to her. Take it. Read it. Verify it. Then tell me if you still think assassination is the only answer. She takes the chip, turning it over in her fingers. Her hands are trembling, just slightly. And Varen? Volkov? Kain? Varen is next. His financial crimes alone will destroy him. Volkov is more complicated. But I have people working on it. And Kain is old. His health is failing. I'm hoping we can outlast him. That's not justice. That's waiting. Sometimes waiting is the best we can do. Dain's voice softens. I'm not promising a perfect solution, Rhea. I'm promising a better one. A path that doesn't require more bodies, more widows, more orphans. A path that builds something instead of just tearing something down. She's silent for a long moment. The wind whistles through the broken windows, carrying the scent of rain. If I agree to this, she says finally, what happens to the free claw? It becomes part of the solution. Your people will be granted amnesty. Your Omegas will be freed from their assignments. Your Betas will be given positions in the new administration. I'm not asking you to surrender, Rhea. I'm asking you to transform. And if I refuse, then you walk out that door and we continue as we were. Enemies, opponents, trying to destroy each other instead of working together. He meets her eyes. I don't want that. I've never wanted that. But I won't force you to agree. The choice is yours. Rhea looks at the chip in her hand. She looks at Dain's face, open and earnest and vulnerable. She looks at me, watching from the shadows, hoping against hope. One condition, she says. Name it. Kaelin stays with the Free Claw, not as a spy, not as a hostage, but as a liaison. Someone who can bridge the gap between your world and mine. Someone I trust. Dain's jaw tightens. He looks at me and I feel the conflict raging through the bond. The Alpha's need to protect, the man's desire to keep me close, the commander's recognition of a fair compromise. That's not my decision, he says finally. It's his. All eyes turn to me. I step out of the shadows, crossing the space between us until I'm standing beside Dain. I can feel the warmth of him through the bond, the steadiness of his presence. I'll do it, I say, on one condition of my own. Rhea raises an eyebrow. Name it. When this is over, when Theron is convicted, when the system is reformed, when Omegas are free, I want to come home. To Dain. Not as a liaison or a soldier or a secret, but as his mate, his partner, his equal. Rhea looks at me for a long moment. Then she looks at Dain, and something shifts in her expression. Something almost like approval. Fair enough, she says. She extends her hand to Dain. Then we have a deal. Dain shakes her hand, and I feel the weight of history shifting beneath our feet. This is the moment everything changes. Not with a bang or a howl or a river of blood, but with a handshake in an abandoned temple, with wind and dust and the ghost of the goddess watching over us. You know, Rhea says, almost smiling, I never thought I'd see the day when the Supreme Alpha Commander negotiated with a rebel. I never thought I'd see the day when a rebel had the courage to trust. Dain releases her hand, stepping back to my side. His arm wraps around my waist, pulling me close. But I suppose the world is full of surprises. The world is full of wolves, Ria corrects. The only question is whether we devour each other or learn to run together. Then let's run together. She nods, turning to leave. At the door, she pauses, looking back at us. Take care of him, she says to Dain. He's worth more than you know. I know exactly what he's worth. Dain presses a kiss to my temple. And I intend to spend the rest of my life proving it. Ria leaves, her lieutenants following. The temple falls silent, empty except for us and the dust and the watching stone eyes of the goddess. She's going to be trouble, I say. The best people usually are. I turn in his arms, facing him. The bond hums between us, golden and warm and alive. You scared me, you know, when you first approached me with that deal. Bond with you or else. I scared myself. He cups my face in his hands, thumbs brushing my cheekbones. I was desperate, and I was falling in love with you, and I didn't know how else to keep you. It was wrong. I was wrong. And I'm sorry. Apology accepted. I rise on my toes, kissing him softly. But if you ever blackmail me again, I'll bite you. Promise. I laugh, and the sound echoes through the empty temple, bright and free. Idiot. You're idiot. Always. He kisses me again, deeper this time, and the world falls away. No empire, no rebels, no council or conspiracies or secrets. Just us, wrapped in each other, bound by choice rather than chains. When we finally break apart, the sun is setting outside the broken windows, painting the temple in shades of gold and rose. We should go, Dain says reluctantly. There's work to do, Theron to expose, laws to rewrite, a future to build. We have time, do we? He raises an eyebrow. You said the suppressants were failing. Your heat is manageable. The bond helps. You help. I press my hand to his chest, feeling his heartbeat beneath my palm. We have time, Dain. Not forever, but enough. Enough to do this right. He covers my hand with his, intertwining our fingers. Then let's start now. We walk out of the temple together, into the dying light, into the uncertain future. Behind us, the goddess watches, her stone eyes unreadable. Before us, the world waits, hungry and broken and ready to be remade. I am an Omega. I am a soldier. I am a liar and a lover and a survivor. And for the first time in 8 years, I am not afraid. Because I am not alone. Because I am loved. Because the bond between us is not a chain, it's a promise. And promises, unlike secrets, can last forever.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and keep enjoying BL Stories with Webtoon BL.